All right. Welcome, everybody, for this call with Matthew Thompson. The school legend is what I'm going to call him because he's just done so much for everybody that's here on school, and we're so happy to have him back here. And we're going to go straight into what he's doing with his school community because it's kind of cool, and I definitely think that everybody should end up modeling it in some way or shape or form. Find the things that stick for them and go well. Matthew, welcome. So happy to
Hello.
have you.
Amazing to be here. I mean, you have an incredible space. You have incredible people. I'm like going through everyone in the chat. I'm like, how the heck is everybody in here? Chuck Ellis is here. Jimmy Chadburn is in here. It's like, what? Nuts.
Got a good group of people. Very happy to see everybody here. Thank you for taking time to be here with us live versus just catching the replay. I really appreciate that. So Matthew, you were on school for a long time. You were there super active. Then you were quiet for a bit, and now you've come back, and you're coming back to school with something that I feel most people are sleeping on, which is the 7-day free trial. And not only that, you're growing it, from my knowledge, with mostly just affiliates, referrals, inviting people back, which is huge because if anybody can show the way, I think it's you. You're definitely good at carving a path. But I also think looking into this, I am really interested in seeing how this not only works, but why are you structuring it the way that you're structuring it versus how we've seen it structured. So I guess my first question for you would be, what was the main reason you chose to use the 7-day free trial?
Yeah, so I mean, like all good things, it started off completely by accident. I had the idea to start a community to help people, reduce their screen time because I have a deeply personal origin story here. That's called a tease. And this little teenage guy, he was 17 years old. He reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, dude, I'm really struggling with my screen addiction. I feel like my life's going down a dark path. I'm afraid I'm not going to be the father and the husband and the friend that I want to be. Could you please help me? Could you please help me?" And I said, "Hey, if I make a 7-day challenge for you, would you go through it?" And he's like, "Yeah, 100%. Oh my goodness. Yes, 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 yes." I'm like, "Okay. If you finish the 7th day, I'll give you $100." And he's like, "Dude, is this a scam? Are you serious?" Like, "Yes, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it." I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay." So my wife was actually on holiday at the time while I break my whole set. Let's realign ourselves. And so I had the kids. I have 2 young daughters, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I had no time to like do one-on-one coaching with this guy. And I was like, right, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. I'll post a little Loom video inside the community every single day. So I started a $9 school community, dripped everything out on a day-by-day basis, and he went through this challenge. And I think because we had agreed that it would be 7 days, he had like a little bit of momentum. He had a reason to show up and do it every single day. And then there was a reward at the end, right? The $100, which I just wanted him to go through it. So he finishes the challenge. He cuts his screen time by 8 hours per day, which is something not so like 130 days per year of his life. And I'm like, wow, this actually worked. And because I was designing it for the 17-year-old kid, it was like really, really easy stuff. Like least amount of effort, most amount of results. And while I was doing this challenge for the guy's name was Tyler, I heard this random like ka-ching noise on school. Has anyone ever been jump scared by their ka-ching? We were literally like, "Oh, what's happening?" And I quickly like
Yeah.
jumped into the membership and I was like, "Who is this guy?" And it was a guy called Isaac. And I sent him a message. I'm like, "Yo, dude, like you can't be here. This is a private community. It's just for Tyler." And he's like, "Please don't kick me out. I need this. Like I've been looking for this. I've been searching for something like this." And I'm like, how did you find this? And he says, "I typed in business dashboard into School Discovery." I'm like, my community doesn't have the word business or dashboard in it, but okay. I said, "If you really want to do it, fine. I'll give you $100 if you make it to day 7." So he goes through the 7-day challenge. He's about 40 years old. He's got 4 kids, and he reduces his screen time by, I think, 3 hours per day, which is like 40 days per year. And I'm like, yo, here is a teenage boy, here's a 40-year-old man, and they've both got results from this accidental thing that I just put out there for one person. And so to answer your original question, like the whole 7-day free trial thing, I didn't plan it, but I accidentally realized like a 7-day challenge, okay, it adds a little bit of momentum. I ran that community for a while. More and more people started joining. They started getting amazing results, amazing results. And I originally had a paid community. So classic kind of free community into a paid community. And something about it just wasn't working. That transition between the two was really icky to me. I'm not a pitch guy. I don't like to pitch people. I like to just like serve people and make them feel good and get them great results. And at the end of the 7-day challenge, like to have this awkward, clunky pitch, it just didn't feel very aligned to me. But I also wanted to have people to have a little bit of skin in the game. So Tyler and Isaac, they paid $1 to join the 7-day challenge because I felt like there is some sort of an exchange whenever people commit something, and it almost doesn't matter what it is. And then I had this crazy idea. It's like, hey, the 7-day free trial. No one on Skool is really using this that I've seen. And during my time at Skool, I saw these amazing features being built on all this amazing hype and energy, and we get so excited about it, and then they get released out there into the wild, and it's like crickets. And I felt the same way about affiliates. And I was sitting there and I was waiting for affiliates to launch, and I was like, this is going to change everything. This is going to change the game. And then affiliates were released, and it's like crickets. And so those two features, I was like, huh, actually, I wonder if there's a way that I can utilize the genius things that Sam and the team have already built and apply it to this community. And so I merged everything into one place. Instead of charging people $1, I thought, let's make the 7-day challenge 100% free via a free trial. And then at the end, if people want to continue on in the rest of their screen free journey, they don't need to be pitched. They don't need to have a big, massive sales thing at the end. They just decide to stay. And so removing that friction just brought all of the momentum, all of my people in the one place. Instead of having all of your best people in a paid community by themselves, they're now in there nurturing and supporting the new people. There's no sales pitch, there's no friction, but there's still that little bit of commitment and momentum where it's like, hey, in the back of their head, they know that they're on a 7-day free trial. They know that there's a reason for them to keep showing up every single day, which in turn gets them the amazing results that helps them. The promise of our free 7-day challenge is to cut 1 month of free time, get 1 month of free time back from screens every single year. And so they get the results for free. And then if they decide to stay, then it's frictionless for them. And so that's how I kind of accidentally stumbled into the format.
I love that. And I think part of, if you don't know yet, if you haven't tested out, you only get one 7-day free trial. Like that's how the system works. So I like that when you're using it, people need to take advantage of it if they're going to be in there, if they're trying to do it for the 7 day and do it free. Um, so I think that helps with like activating the members if they're aware of it. But if they're not, I've noticed the way that you've structured the challenge in itself makes people want to show up, makes people want to share. It like solves the engagement problem too that some people have when they first join a community. Can you tell us a little bit about the way that you structured it and if they gain a month back in the first 7 days, then why would they stick around? What's next after the 7 days?
Yeah, so a couple of things in there. Is it okay? Can I just show you? Can I just like share the screen? Do I
Yeah.
have your permission to do that, Master Chief?
Yes. Please share away.
Okay, awesome. So the first part of the question is kind of an engagement question. And so if I pull this up here, when you go into the classroom, the only thing that's unlocked is the 7-day challenge. So people can't do anything else except for click into this first trial. And when they click into this first tile, they can only do the first day. And so I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. So we structured the whole thing around the Lord of the Rings hero's journey. And at the very end of the video, you're encouraged to take one action step and you're encouraged to make a post in the community. And so these are basically like daily check-ins, we call them. They're like daily accountability posts. every single person who joins the community gets assigned a personal screen time coach. And so every single day, whenever you make a post, someone on our team will get back to you to cheer you on, to encourage you, but also answer any questions that you have, help any obstacles that are in your way so you can get results. And so you'll see here, we just have this little thing that you copy and paste. You click this link at the bottom, and then it instantly takes you to the community tab in the right category. You paste it, and then you basically just like answer the questions. And so what this means is that every single day, every single person is making a post. And so if I just scroll through here, this is the daily check-in tab from today. And it's extremely engaged community. It's very, very small. You'll see there's only 121 members, but we were able to get the star emoji very, very quickly, simply because of the massive amounts of engagement that we have inside the community. So I like it because, yes, there's very, very small numbers of people in there, but naturally, like when you get a group of passionate people together around a common goal, around a common purpose, they want to cheer each other on. We want to be each other's cheerleaders. We want to be each other's champions. And so this actually gives a space for people to do that while improving engagement, while getting people to show up, because it's very easy to watch a video and not take any action. But if part of the video is, okay, now copy this, click this link, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to fill out this post, it kind of like forces people to take the action. And I love what Hermosi says about the difference between educational content and entertainment. He says, if you watched a video and at the end you don't take any action, you haven't been educated, you've been entertained. And he defines educational content as something that changes behavior and promotes action. And so we bake that into the program. You know, Rick and the other guys that have been through it so far, they'll tell you every single day is like a mini sales letter to encourage people to take one small action. I want you to really, really kind of like grab this. A minimal viable action. What is the least amount of effort that someone can take today to get the massive results that they joined the community for? And so that was the first part of the question, is basically like that engagement piece. Can you remind me what the second piece was? I did have something in my head, but now it's completely eluded me.
Well, before we go into that next one, I just want to say that's really important. We talk about this inside my community. I know I've talked about it with my other members, is you really have mastered the whole small win when they first join. So if they can, a lot of times when we look at like the posts inside schoolers or other places where people are talking about the 7-day trial, they're like, well, what can I block so that they don't have access and they want to stay? And instead, you're coming out here and you're saying, let me see how much I can give so that they have a massive win and they want to stay.
I got it. I got what I was going to say. Thank you, Jenna. So I spoke about this when I met with Calvin in Germany a few weeks ago. I kind of had this idea where it was like, okay. So, 20 years ago on the internet, we all remember the info industry. You would click on this link and there would be like, a 15-minute long page VSL that would be trying to get you to buy like a $50 CD or a $50 videotape that had this precious information that would change your life. Internet came along, social media came along, YouTube came along, and all information basically became available for free. And so then Hermosi comes along, has this incredible kind of insight where he says, you should give the information away for free and sell the implementation. Really cool, really smart. Now, a few years on from that, I think that we are, because we're in the middle of this big trust crisis, which I'm sure you've heard lots of people talk about. People are very, very skeptical of buying things online. People don't trust influencers. They don't trust online people because they've been burned so many times. What I've tried to do here, the concept is give the transformation away for free and then sell the ability to maintain it. And so, if I scroll through these wins here, like here's someone that just finished yesterday. So Rohan cut his screen time by 4 hours per day. Rick, God bless Rick, he cut his screen time by 11.5 hours a day. Albert, 6.5 hours a day. Mark, 3.5 hours a day. It's like, it's on and on and on and on. And people got this 100% for free. And so, what better sales pitch is there than to give people the results and say, look, you've just got back 1 month, 2 months more of your life 100% for free. How high do you think the trust level is that if someone's keeps on the trial, that you'll be able to deliver those results continuously that you already have given them. It's like proof before payment. You know what I mean? And so that's the way I wanted to structure it. And the other reason that I really wanted to do it this way is because like I'm deeply passionate about this cause. I feel like I've been given a huge vision and a huge mission, which is to cut 1 billion hours of screen time over the next 3 years, which is 100,000 years of human potential. 100,000 years like reclaimed from big tech, reinvested back into our communities, back into our friends, back into our families, back into, like we were talking about in Kelowna with Tracy, our soul's work, like the reason we're here on the planet. And I want as many people to go through the 7 day challenge as possible. I want it to be 100% free. And so if, thousands of people go through the 7 days and then cancel their trial, I'm like, happy days. We have just got one step closer in achieving this mission. And the beautiful thing is, this is the last thing I'll say, is I was like playing around chatting with ChatGPT about like how many people would we need to reach to cut 1 billion hours of screen time. And ChatGPT was like, okay, what's the average results? Say, well, the average results is people reduce their screen time by 2.5 hours per day. It's actually a lot more than that, but I had to lie on the about page because if I put the real number, no one would believe it. Also, they would feel really scared, like, oh, it would make them feel like they need to give up too much. And so I had to kind of like dampen the results to make it more believable. And basically, like, Jenna, because you've been through the program and a few other people in here, there's 3 big dominoes that we encourage people to do. Thank you to whoever just joined. Wow. There's 3 big dominoes that we encourage people to do. And they're the most basic things ever. They're things that you've heard to do like hundreds of times on podcasts and on, blog posts and books, but the action is the valuable bit. And we set it up in such a way where these habits will follow you for the rest of your life. They're super, super basic. And so if 25,000 people go through the 7 day challenge and they keep the 3 habits, we'll cut 1 billion hours of screen time. And so whenever that hit me, I was like, yo, like, I don't need to reach 1 million people. I'm not a famous YouTuber. I don't have a huge audience. I don't know how to go viral. William Renner, God bless him, he worked on my YouTube videos last year and we got the most views we've ever got. But I don't know how to do that stuff. I don't know how to run paid ads. I don't know how to reach millions of people, but I do know how to serve people. I do know how to care about people. And I know how to like take people by the hand and walk them on a transformational journey, because it's what I've always been doing. I worked in the nonprofit space before becoming an entrepreneur. I served, drug addicts on the streets of Harlem. I worked with homelessness in New York City. I did earthquake relief in Nepal and Haiti. I shot documentaries for charities in Rwanda. I'm used to the slow, unscalable human to human work. And now, like in this community, the way it's set up, it's just a space that me and now, the team that I've started to build can do that for people. And through the power of affiliates and through the power of referral and through the power of, how beautiful is it to invite someone that you care about, someone that you love, to take part in a free 7 day challenge to get the results that you yourself have experienced. It's just beautiful. And, as someone said to me in Canada, it's like, if you cut 1 billion hours of screen time, do you really think that you're not going to also build an amazing business along the way? And it's like, yeah, obviously, because the more you give to the world, the more the world gives back to you. And so, yeah, that's just the way I think about it. 25,000 people, if all they do is go through the free 7 day challenge, they cancel their trial, we'll achieve our goal of cutting 1 billion hours of screen time. It's half of a Taylor Swift concert. It's half of an American football college stadium or whatever you guys have over there. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Like I can sign up to spend the next decade of my life moving towards that vision, because for me it's deeply personal and valuable.
I love that. And it's interesting, like when you said that you were going to have a community because of who you are, I was going to be in it in either way, as long as it wasn't only for men. I was like, I'm going to be there. And then when we started talking about it and I heard more of like the mission and the vision, I was like, oh, of course. It's always been super important to me. I have this like feeling when I think about it, and this isn't necessarily business related. This was more just um personal, is that I feel like, what are the memories of our kids going to be? What are the memories that people are going to have when they think about their loved ones? Because how many times do you go out and you're at a restaurant and everybody's on their phones? what is the memory of the kids that are just gonna be like, yeah, I remember looking at my mom and she was always on her phone, or my dad, he was always on the phone. And so I've always had this like strong opinion of like, hey, we need to make sure that we have like focused spend time with the kids. Let's make memories. Let's make sure that we're building that relationship that doesn't involve that glowing screen on our face, you know? And so I went into this going, okay, it's going to really help me personally. And it did. I think it was 4 hours was my 7 day, and I 4 hours a day, and I did the math because you know me, business scientist. I was like, how much is this going to be worth as far as like monetarily? What would be the savings on my time? And it was pretty close to like half a million. And I was like, holy, oh my goodness. But then also, I connected more with my family. I connected a lot more with my son. And so just going through the 7 days, this being my transformation in 7 days is wild. And I I was sold. And then as I started right after this, we got sick, right? And I still continued on, but I was able to be more productive with the time. I noticed that more work was being done, less distraction. I slept better. Like it was like all this like you talk about the three dominoes. It was like I did those three dominoes and then all these other dominoes in other areas were like just going bam, 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 bam. And so that's really sticky. And it doesn't have to be about like a screen challenge. I know other people have different transformations they can have that help people, but I think that's the impact that should happen when it is a 7 day trial. Like somebody should go through your 7 day free trial going, there's no way I can leave, you know, like if they truly go through it. And but you started going into a little bit about who you are. So I want to hear a little bit more. We've seen you in here that you did a TED talk. That we've heard that you have a PhD when we go through this challenge. All of these things that I didn't know about Matthew the podcaster that did school stories. So can you go into more of like who you are, your background, why this is important to you, why you view screen times as being like majorly important that everybody should pay attention to?
Yeah. So I had a really great conversation with a guy called Luke Gilbert. He's a bit of a school legend. I reconnected with him when he went through the 7 day challenge. And he talked about a really interesting concept. He just said, like kind of what you said, Jenny. He's like, like you've been on the scene on school for a while and we know very little about you. And so it's actually quite delightful to find out things that you don't know about people, just like in real life. Like the more intimacy and the more time you spend, you will find out more deep things about those people. And he came up with a great concept. I just want to give Luke like a real big shout out here. He talks about this thing called proof dripping, where he says you shouldn't just front load all of your proof at the start like a kind of like typical bro marketer. It's like you should leave enough space for people to actually get to know you over time and allow people to be surprised by pretty significant things that just add to your credibility and add to like the mission that you're going on. And so I'll come at this like from a personal angle. So yeah, I was born in 1995. I, saw the rise of technology. I was 11 years old whenever Steve Jobs, thrust the iPhone into all of our hands. And so I got to experience kind of like my feet in both worlds, the analog world and the digital world. And I had a front row seat to the massive change that, all of us have experienced over the last 30 years. And like how it impacted me was, I was joking with Tracy and the guys in Canada. I got a Game Boy Gray for my third birthday and I was playing Pokemon Yellow and me and Pikachu were best buds and it was super fun and super exciting. But I look back now and I'm like, well, I spent most of my days watching TV. I spent most of my nights hanging out with Pikachu. And that's a lot of time. Whenever I could have been, what do they say? Climbing your tree and scraping your knee and going on your bicycle and all this sort of stuff. But it was fine because it was fun and it was cool and it was light and it was new. And like, I love my parents deeply and I have total empathy for parents of my generation because they just had no clue. This was brand new for them. How could they possibly, foresee where the road would take us? And where the road took me was I was exposed to pornography at 11 years old. Wasn't something that I was seeking out, wasn't something that I was trying to find, and it found me. And that thrust me into an addiction that, like, to be brutally honest, like, it stole part of my childhood from me. I developed a lot of, I had a chronic health condition and I was bedridden and I missed 6 months of school and I was so weak that I couldn't climb the stairs. And so, what did I do with my free time when I had no one else to be around? I obviously turned to screens. And we weren't playing Pokemon Yellow anymore. We were playing more advanced video games that were more addictive and blah, 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 blah. So this led me down a spiral staircase where eventually, as I shared with the guys in Canada, it led to me at the kitchen table, 11 years old, had a date in my calendar to take my own life. And I had like a massively profound experience that day where at the kitchen table, I basically heard a voice that told me, Matthew, don't do it because I have a plan for your life. And I'd love to tell you that my life, magically transformed from that moment and everything was perfect. But I didn't die, so that's good. And then, it took me many, many, many years, step by step, to climb up that spiral staircase. And so battled the addiction head on, started recovery in a big, big way. Actually led a mini movement of teenage guys my age who started to be open about pornography because what we discovered was we thought that we were the only people and that we were total freaks and an embarrassment to society. And then you start talking to young men and they're like, no, 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 like it's everybody. Like we don't know anyone our age that hasn't had a problem with this because we all were given unlimited access to screens and nobody realized that it was the modern day asbestos where it's actually dangerous and it's not our parents' fault because they didn't know. And so I always had a sense it's like, what is the reason that I was saved? What is the reason that I am still on this planet? And I knew it had something to do with screens. I knew it had something to do with fathers and parents and helping the family like protect their home. Like our homes are supposed to be a sanctuary. Our homes are supposed to be a safe place where we're protected from the chaos of the world. And these things have turned into portals so that the world can come into our, not just our homes, not just our living rooms, but also our bedrooms. And so, yeah, deeply, deeply passionate about seeing people free in this area. Like for the time saving that you mentioned, one of the things I said to Tracy is like these things have kind of just become a tax. They've become a tax on our time. They've become a tax on our schedules. They've become a tax on our creativity. And once kind of like big capitalist forces bought all of the land and they bought all the factories and they were able to mine our work 9 to 5 working days, they had nothing else to extract value from other than our free time. And so this, from my opinion, is the business model of big tech, where they say, all right, well, what about the 2 hours at the end of the day? How can we extract dollar value from that? And so, we go on these platforms and we end up working for them for free. We end up training their algorithms and they find ways to extract more and more time and more money from us. And so for me, this is about freedom. This is about freeing people up so that we can, as entrepreneurs and as parents and as leaders of our communities, both online and offline, like start to make the world look more like the paradise I believe it was designed to be. But we can only do that when we're free. I love the quote, hurt people, but free people. And I believe freedom is like the most infectious thing on the planet. And so, yeah, the more freedom we can all experience, the more freedom we all experience. And that's the spiral staircase going upwards that I feel like we all have a role to play. My contribution is screen time. Tracy's contribution is colors. Everyone has a different role to play. And yeah, my deep passion is to free up time so that, yes, we can be present with our families. Yes, we can make these incredible memories instead of just getting sucked into a screen, but also that we can kind of go forward and live out the massive, massive dreams and like visions that are deeply, deeply inside of us that we know we're supposed to deliver to the world. But often there's things that kind of get in the way of that.
I agree. And like something that you've designed inside your challenge is living a life as well. So here's a problem that I like to say that I'm a recovering workaholic, but I don't know about that. Sometimes I still just go full force into it. But there's that moment where like life is actually happening now, and we hear that a lot. And it's getting to that point where it's like, oh, okay, cool. Nice. We all know that, stating the obvious, but it really is we if we are able to be more productive with the time that we are working, if we're able to not spend so much time on our screens afterwards just decompressing or whatever our excuses are, getting distraction, getting sucked into it, then we have more time with our family, but we also have time to live that life that we actually want to live. So we can go on those adventures, we can go on those moments where no, we actually are enjoying versus just full on going, we'll do that once we get to here. I'll do that when I get to this point. And that's not, I think that's why people get burnt out, you know, and why people don't actually they end up resenting the business that they build because they built a job that they have to be at constantly, and they don't build a business that supports them and serves them. And ultimately, somebody that's doing a business is able to serve other people better when they do have a life that others would want to model and live as well. So, I love all of that. And thank you for sharing. Like, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story with everybody. I know that you've been doing that very freely, and I just want to acknowledge that for a moment because it's sometimes scary to put yourself out there, you know? And you've done such a great job at um, just making sure that people, like, it goes with your mission, but you also help people connect because we all have our own stories, whether it's porn or an addiction to playing games, it's an addiction to doom scrolling, right? Spending too much time on Facebook, like all these different places. And you're right, we really are. They've gotten us to take our free time to train their algorithms so that they can turn around and sell it. And it's just crazy. It's and that's where it's like it goes back to where I said that's how much money I'm saving. I'm gaining back from big tech. So that's pretty cool. Um,
And just on that note, sorry, Jenna, like
mhm.
it's one of the reasons I'm so excited and so all in on school because like Facebook could have been the great connector of our time. Like Facebook had so much potential to be such an incredible force for good in the world and actually bring people together online and offline. Tristan Harris, he's a great guy in this space where he talks about using technology for good. He says, imagine if Facebook wasn't designed so that we were the product, but that we were the customer and that our needs were put first instead of advertisers, then it would be totally free to make these awesome features. Like imagine walking down the street, right? And you've like, oh, I've got 2 hours free, and you can push a button and it just like sends like this little like beacon out to everyone that you know and love in the world where it's like, I'm gonna be at this coffee shop at this time. Whoever wants to show up can show up. And it's like boom, all this amazing, wonderful connection and all these like beautiful interactions that wouldn't have happened otherwise, thanks to the powers of technology. And technology is just a tool, right? It's neutral. It can be used for good or it can be used for evil. And so I love like the reason why I love school so much is because you have to pay to have a community. And so what does that mean? It means you're the customer, you're not the product. And so there's no ads, there's nothing being pushed in your face. It's a safe, curated space where you only see the things that you have opted in to see with the people that you've opted in to share a space with. And when I joined Skool, like as a free trial, back in February 24, like I got so excited because it reminded me of the old internet. It was like, wow, here's just like groups of people who love and care about each other that want to share and exchange information and share value. And the mission of helping 1 billion people find community is something that deeply resonates with me on like a spiritual level. And so to be a part of a platform that is so focused on this way and trying to use technology as a force for good, it's just so exciting. And I hope it excites every single person on this call as being part of the Skool ecosystem and having your own community. It's like you get to be part of this. Like it's like Star Wars, right? I don't know if anyone remembers this way back. Like one of the first things I did on Skool was I made a parody video where it was like Sam and Alex fighting against Mark Zuckerberg in like a Star Wars parody. And it's like red lightsaber versus blue lightsaber. And that's kind of what it is. It's like we are engaged in a cosmic battle for the freedom of the world. And your community plays an important role in that. So sorry, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
I love that. And I remember when that parody came out, it was like I think that was my one of my first impressions of back when it was called School Community. I would join and I saw that and I was like, "What is this? This is fun," you know? And that was the one of the helpful things where it was like, it's not just fun based off of what they've created with gamification. It's fun because of the people that want to involve others with their fun. And that goes back to where you were saying like free people want to help free other people. That helps with the whole affiliate thing. So here I am being business mode, going back to the business side of it. Um, but what I talk about is like if you help somebody make a friend, right? That's our jobs as community owners, as community supporters. You help people make a friend because when you have someone make a friend, they're going to show up, they're going to engage. You have all these other things. And if you create within your course or your classroom some sort of transformation, something that is helpful that people want to share, the people that are already in friend mode, that have already activated, like, this is a place I want to be and I want to hang out, they're going to want to share with other people. And that's what you're doing is like you're giving people such a strong transformation for free in 7 days and you're inviting them to invite other people. It's not like, hey, get your affiliates in so you don't have to pay your monthly fee. Hey, go ahead and bring more people in to nothing weird. It's no, invite your friends, invite your family, invite the people that you care about to also have this transformation.
Right. And I want to give my wife a huge shout out here. I can't remember if I even told you this, Jenna, but so for context, like as the community started to get traction, I started to kind of get a little bit more like proper and formal, where I would take people in waves of cohorts. And so I had 7 weeks of cohorts. And at the end of every single week, I would do these mad, crazy feedback sessions to get all of the ideas, all of the problems, all of the pain points from that cohort. And then I would redo the whole 7 day challenge. So the version that exists right now is on its 8th iteration. And so people ask me, like, dude, why is this so smooth? And I'm like, because I did it 8 times. And
Love it.
so, we've done everything. It's like there used to be a free community into a paid community that used to be, it's so different to what it started as because the community told me what they needed and what would make it better. But one of the things I would do, like you said, Jana, at the end of the 7 days, I'd be like, okay, so there's a 40% affiliate commission here in this group. And I just want to open up a Google Doc here to show you what the financial opportunity is here. So, you can make $40 a month for every ever active member. And if you invite 100 people, that's $4,000 a month, and if you invite 1,000, it's $40,000 a month. Can you imagine making $40,000 a month? It's like bro marketing, bro. And my wife goes through it, and she's like, "Yo, loved it." She gets amazing results. She cuts her screen time by I think 3 hours per day. And by the way, if you're married, you know that if your spouse can get results from you, something must be working because the prophet is not honored in his hometown, and our spouses, as much as they love us, there's a huge barrier there. And so when I saw, my wife get these results, I was like, oh snap, like where this is going to work. But she said, I want to invite my friends and I want to invite my family because I love them. Because I really want them to experience the benefits and the transformation that I have received. And as soon as you mention money, it makes me feel gross. It makes me feel like it's a pyramid scheme. It makes me feel like da 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 da. And for context, my wife is an ICU nurse. She doesn't have a business bone in her body. She is the most B2C market you could possibly imagine. And her perspective, I didn't have her perspective. I just come from the world of business. So I'm like, dude, of course people want to make money. Like, let's freaking go. Let's get this affiliate thing to the moon. And she says, let it be a surprise. And so in the 7 day challenge, in week 2, in week 3, and week 4, we don't even tell anybody it's an affiliate link. And so this beautiful thing happens. We just say, hey, if you want to invite people that you care about, here's your special link. Click here, send your link there. And so whenever someone joins the community and they activate to the paid, they get an email that says, hey, Tracy, congratulations, you've just earned $40. And then we get these messages like, what? No way. This is the coolest thing ever. I can't believe it. Like, and it provokes this amazing spirit of like generosity and excitement and like, wow, how amazing, versus like immediately diving in. It's like, yes, if you get 3 people, you can cover the cost of your membership for life. Da, 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 da. And then I'm really excited for tiers to come out. So as people know, Skool's about to launch a tiers feature. And I had a young man today who is potentially even in here, and we're considering he's considering basically going up to a higher level. And so I was like, what is it that you're looking for? And he said this and he said that, and I'm like, what price would you like to pay? After a bit of discussion, he's like, 999 sounds reasonable. I'm like, cool. And we want to have a back end mastermind, and we want to have Irish retreats where people fly to Ireland and have these amazing 2 day experiences and entrepreneurs and blah 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 blah. But this guy came in on an affiliate, and so if he upgrades to 999, his affiliate gets $400. And I'm like, yo, how epic is Skool, where you can invite someone into a free 7 day challenge that will change their lives, and you can be rewarded for the generosity. And so, yes, the affiliate thing, I feel like is totally untapped on Skool. I think we haven't really seen a community who's really nailed it and really dialed it in. Maybe it's because we don't know how to talk about it. Maybe we don't know how to equip our members with the tools to actually go about and do it. But because I don't want to make content, because I don't want to run ads, and because I have this huge vision of cutting 1 billion hours of screen time, if every single person who goes through the free 7 day challenge invites 3 of their friends, you reach 25,000 people in 12 weeks. Now that's mathematics, right? It's theoretical perfection. We live in a real world.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can dial that in, if any community can dial that in, then every community has the potential to grow at the same rate that something like Facebook grows at. And if our communities are a force for good in the world, then we can scale our impact in a way that could never have been possible before without a tool like Skool, without a tool like the internet, without a tool like the online world. And so, yeah, trying to find a way to really dial in that affiliate mechanism, I think is going to be so, so key.
And I think that happens doing it the way that you're providing the huge transformation in 7 days, because you've sold them based off of their results. This is something I've talked about with, like, I don't know if I've talked about it in the free community as much, but I always say track everything. But if you can get people to track their own results, that's even more powerful, because you're then stating, you're telling everybody, these are my results. This is how I felt through it. It's almost like a daily time journal, that we're posting inside your community. So here's my results, and I can't just be like, oh, well, that didn't happen in my head. Or I can't say, oh, this was great. I enjoyed spending time with you guys. I just don't see how this works for me. When you have the proof, it does work. So this kind of model, if people are wanting to grow, because let's just be honest right now, you talked about you don't know how to run ads. You're not this like huge business guy that's like done all these things, and you want to grow it where the mission is more important than the business, right? You started with just trying to help a 17-year-old with a 7-day trial. So anybody out there that wanted to start a school could do the same model. We're seeing the 8th version of this challenge, and this is when you're going out and like sharing it with people. So it's like the whole start messy and then work around it. Get with your community members, ask them what they think, like get real feedback so that you can adjust it along the way. And something I find interesting, can I share a little bit about day 15?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. So when I got to day 15, I really, really, I so respect you for this, but you're wanting to record it again. And so there was not a day 15 when I got to day 15. But because you built us up through the 7-day, through the 14-day, on day 15, you say, hey, message me, I'll refund you. I'm re-recording this. I don't want a refund because I've gone through the 14 days. I'm like, I don't want one. In fact, me and Jesse and Brett, we're creating the days as we go. Well, we're still going to check in whether you like it or not, you know, because we know that when you create these habits, that you got to stick with it, kind of thing. And for anybody that's starting out, if there was a day where you wanted to go back and re-record something, when you've built up this much trust and you built up this much, like almost a community bond, people are gracious and they understand, you know, and they're like, instead, it's not even like you have to worry about, oh no, there's not a day 15 yet, which is you're about to have up in like what, a day or so, the re-recording of it.
I'm like editing. Yeah, I wrote it and shot it today. And for context, like the reason why, so I have the challenge all the way up, like recorded with Loom videos, and then I stumbled across this Lord of the Rings theme, and it just really, really connected with people, and it really connected with me. Rick's giving me thumbs up, and so I was like, dude, like I would rather people wait, and I would rather refund them because I know the long-term vision of this community and I know the power and the importance of having goodwill. So what is like $100 to refund someone who could potentially stay in this community for the full 90-day program and bring 10 of their friends along? I'm like, the short-term thinking just never ever works. And so for me, it's like I flew to Canada last week. It was highly disruptive, disrupted my whole life, disrupted my whole schedule, disrupted my whole flow, just because I, had to go and talk to Tracy. It's like, what the heck, bro? Uh, and so, I put a little note in my community and day 15, I said, hey, I'm in Canada for a week. It's going to throw me off. And so if you make it this far, like, let me know and I'll give you a refund. And I think I issued like 4 refunds today. And I'm delighted to do so because the delight that people get whenever you treat them with respect is worth every single penny. And then you have
Yeah,
some like Jenna and they're like, I refuse a refund.
yeah, exactly. Not gonna take it. In fact, it was almost like one of those things where I kind of missed not getting to. Uh-oh, I'm frozen. Oh no. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. You're just frozen on my end. That's a Starlink thing. Um, we're gonna blame Elon for it. So yeah, no, going through it was like, I don't want to live without doing my check-in, you know? And I was like, so I had already planned to go back and be like, all right, I'm gonna go find a different one and I'm just gonna do the same format, you know? And then I saw that Jesse did it too. And it was really cool. So going through that, I think people put so much pressure on themselves to just start. And there doesn't need to be that pressure because people just want to, that's the community factor. It would be different if you were coaching, it would be different if you were making a course, but in a community, you can uh just go ahead and like get involved and get people to talk, get people to start in a direction on whatever it was. Because I love the structure that you have, but even if there wasn't like a massive structure, I think there's still going to be people that have the transformation too. And I'm sure that's why the 17-year-old went through it and was like, wow, this is amazing. And then Isaac's like, don't kick me out, because people want somewhere to belong and someone to connect with and speak about what's going on for them in these areas. And yeah, it's nice that there is a structure and it's really cool that we get to see this 8th version, but it was still valuable from the very beginning. So,
Yeah, it's interesting. Like one of the biggest things I learned from interviewing, like I think it's nearly 100 Skool Games winners,
mhm.
is like to to promote while you build, like build the rocket ship while you're flying it. Because now, like back to this day 15 example, like when I unleash the floodgates tomorrow and there's like 15 people that go through day 15, I get 15 bits of feedback instantly. So that like for anyone who joins the community today, like by the time they get to day 15, they'll probably see like the 3rd version of it. And so you can constantly just build this iterative feedback loop into everything that you build so that it just gets better and better and better and better over time. And if you think, whenever there's 25,000 people inside this community, like they'll be looking at like day 40 of one of the videos. And so it'll be so dialed in and so beautiful. But you start with that really, really messy action. And yeah, you can start with literally 3 people this week. You either one-on-one coach them or you take them through a very, very simple beta and then you just build and iterate from there.
I like that. I just looked at the time. I actually had something hiding the time from me this whole time. So we are 4 minutes to 12. I would love to know one more thing, and then if there's anything else that you'd like to share with us. Um, you do 7 days, so why do they stay past that? It's the transformation, but maintaining it. But I know that I think that you've said it's a 90-day thing that you have envisioned. So can you share about how to convince, or how you I don't know, does everybody know that's a 90-day thing, or do they just keep going? Like, how does that work for you? Is it where you're upfront with like, hey, now you've done this and now you've gone through the 7 day, we're going to do this for 90 days? Or is it more of like, I'm going to walk you through it and you'll eventually find out that it's 90 days?
So I think like the best way to do that would be actually to look at the about page and see how I pitch it. Because I think that will kind of show you like my thinking on this and then also how the user experiences it. So I always like to ask for permission from people. It's like, am I allowed to show you the about page of this community?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, awesome. So uh yeah, so whenever you get in here, like the only thing that we talk about on the about page is the free 7 day challenge. So here's the big promise. You get back 1 month of free time a year from screens, which is an outrageous promise for a free thing, but it works. And literally the proof is there. So the next thing we do is we handle all the objections, right? So you don't need to delete any apps. You don't need to install any blockers. You don't need to give up anything that you love. And then we call it out to make it really explicit to people. You can keep Netflix. You can keep video games. You can keep social media. Okay, next step. Reduce the perceived effort that it takes to do it. So it only takes 15 minutes a day to play. And completing the 7th day challenge automatically enters you into a weekly $1,000 giveaway. So now you have this amazing, exciting prize that gamifies you forward, that encourages you to keep forward, to go and get the results, this result right here, so that you get the proof that you came here for in the first place. Then we say, after the free 7 day challenge, you'll be invited to continue your screen-free journey. If you forget, my thing's in the way, or if you forget to cancel or decide it's not for you, DM us and we'll refund you straight away. So never in my whole business journey have I ever regretted giving someone a refund. It's not worth it. It's not worth the emotional effort to fight it. It's not worth the relational effort. If Calvin Hollywood's in here, he would say it's not worth the karma debt that you accrue if you treat someone the wrong way. And so I like to give this option to people just to make them feel like super safe. We've all been burned by, joining a free trial and we forget about it or whatever, and then it's really hard to get a refund. It's like, dude, like literally anyone who asks for a refund, I just give it to them. And I actually learned this from Sam. Like, Sam is that way with Skool. It's like, why waste the emotional effort? And this is the beauty of low ticket as well, is that you're very free to do that. It's different if you're selling like a 15K coaching package, which comes with its whole kind of thing. So the only thing we do on this page is we just sell the first step. And then once you get into the classroom, like I said, the only thing you can do is the first step, but you have visibility month 1, month 2, month 3. And when you join this, you see that this unlocks in 6 days, this unlocks at 7 days, this unlocks at 31 days, at 60 days, and at 90 days. And so even the $1,000 giveaway, you see every single day that the day is counting down and down and down and down where you can get entered into that. And
And that in itself is brilliant, because if you'll go back to that real quick,
yeah,
that keeps people engaged the whole time, even after the 7 days, like every
yeah,
single day.
yeah, big time. Because we say like one of the lines that we have in here is like every daily check-in post is like a raffle ticket into next week's giveaway. So the more consistent you are in your screen-free journey, the more chances you have of winning. This is
Mhm.
back to gamification. This is back to making it fun. This is back to doing something that actually encourages people to go and get the actions in the first place. But once you get to the end of day 7, we actually do it on day 6. We talk about week 2. We say, this is what you can expect in week 2. These are the results that you can get excited about. And then once you get into week 2, guess what we talk about? We talk about week 3. And so we're not saying, like, everyone's aware that it's a longer thing because they see it, it's right here, but you're
Mhm.
only selling the next step because that's how we experience the world. It's one step at a time, it's one day at a time. And it puts me on the hook as a community owner to make sure that they're getting unbelievable value and results every single step of the way. And I love that because, I mean, like, what are we doing in this business if that's not the goal?
Agreed. I think that's important because a lot of times we get in our own heads because it's our baby, right? Our communities are our baby. And we think to the future and we're thinking we got to give so many details now. Or we think about like, what are we going to do when we scale? And it's like, we're not even at that point yet. Come on. So,
Yeah.
same thing with this is that if people are coming in with the expectation of just a 7 day and just 15 minutes, right? We're not overwhelming them. It's doable. They now have built the belief that this is something that they can do. Now, walking through the 7 days and seeing that you did keep your word, it is 7 days, it is only 15 minutes or less, you know? Now I trust you to keep your word that this isn't going to be a time suck for me, that this is
And then
actually going to give me something.
what we do as well, sorry to cut you off, Jenna, is once you get to week 2, the
Hmm.
videos drop to 3 videos a week. So now it's
Hmm.
even less time and less effort to continue to get the results. And then once you get into month 2, it's 2 videos a week. And then once you get into month 3, it's 1 video a week. And so naturally we get a lot of excitement and a lot of momentum. You know, one of the things we say is the 7-day challenge is it's like a sprint to get you
Hmm.
amazing short-term results. The rest of the 90 days is go at your own pace, go slow, get your results. And one of the things that we're playing with is people upgrade to annual. So it's 99 bucks a month. It's a 3-month program. If people upgrade to annual, we'll just make it 297 bucks. So it's like
Hmm.
you can switch to annual and you have a full year now to go and get this amazing results. And then the thing that we're gonna do, and like we're just gonna trial this. Like I don't even know if this makes business sense, but this was Ryan Schroep give me this idea. He goes, imagine if you say if you complete the 90th day, you can win your money back. So you get $297 as a reward for finishing the 90 days. I was like, bro, I don't know if it's going to make me bankrupt, but we're totally doing this because this is so awesome. It's so much fun. And so, you know, you have permission as a community to experiment, to try things. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, especially whenever it's deeply connected to a mission and a vision and a cause that you believe in.
And how exciting is it to do your weekly giveaway? Because I don't know about you, but I love watching that and I think that as an owner, it would be like, ha ha ha, I'm excited to do
Yeah.
this.
I always say it's like every single video starts the same. It's like, yo, it's my favorite time of the week. We're about to drop 1K on somebody. And it's like, you know, and we always do this where it's like, not only has Mark reduced his screen time by 53 days a year, but now he's also won $1,000. And then, like, you know, because we've built this amazing supportive community and culture, it's like everyone in the comments is just so excited for that person. And I love this, you know, it creates a culture of success, a culture of celebration. It's like, it just creates a space where people want to be, and
Mhm.
that's the sort of space I want to hang out in.
I love that. And it's totally like just again from the business side, me putting my nerd hat on. You can adjust that. You don't have to do it doesn't have to be $1,000 giveaway. You can do any number you want. It could be, I don't know, 50 bucks starting out when you get started. You could upgrade it as you go, you know? And
Yeah, and
it's
I'll give
still
you
fun.
a really simple example. So one of the dudes that won last week, his name's Nick McCashin. He's a bit of a school legend. He took the $1,000 and he now put that in the kitty of his community giveaway. And so he runs like an ultra marathon community. So every single week he's giving away like the best running shoes on the market or something hilarious like that. So I don't know how much running shoes cost. Maybe they're $100, maybe they're more. But he now has basically like a whole month, a whole year of like awesome giveaways that's hyper
Mhm.
relevant his niche that isn't $1,000 bucks. It doesn't need to be money. You know, the best giveaway is one that's connected to your niche. I just didn't want to give people iPhones for obvious reasons.
Right. I love that. All right. Well, we're towards the end of this. Can you just explain a little bit about how it is to join and how it is to get started? And we kind of done it the whole time, but if people do want to join your community, what would be the one thing that you would want them to do from the get-go? Like the very first day. What would you like them to do besides going to day one?
I hate to say it, but like go through day one. Like we have eliminated every possible rabbit hole you could go down. Like,
Mhm.
did anyone ever watch the first Toy Story? So I used to absolutely love it as a kid. And there's this thing between Woody and Buzz where Woody's like, "You can't fly, Buzz. You suck, bro." And Buzz is like, "Yeah, of course I can fly." And then Woody's like, "You're not flying. You're falling with style." And so like we have created a container where it's like all you have to do is show up and just fall with style like through this wonderful eighth iterative version that we've created, and the results will come to you. And so, I don't have any other like secret sauce of what to do whenever you join, other than maybe go and check out the wins tab and just get really excited and see the culture that's already there in the group. And like huge shout out to Jenna. Like Jenna's like the school fairy godmother, which I don't even know if that's offensive or not. Apologies if it is, but like she just like goes around school, just like sprinkles magic everywhere she goes. And yeah, the Jenna magic is in this community, and so I'm like deeply appreciative to her for that, and also just giving me space to share my story and my vision here today.
Well, thank you. It is not offensive. I will be a fairy godmother anywhere. And then is there anything that you would say don't do?
Yes, don't do more than the challenge encourages you to do. Like this has been incredibly thought out, and I'm gonna flex a little bit here. It's like I have a PhD in this stuff, bro. Like I've been doing this for 15 years. It's like don't throw away your TV or don't throw away your smartphone. Like don't get so excited by the vision and the mission that you just like you're like I'm gonna go crazy. It's like it's designed to be slow. It's designed to be falling with style. It's designed to be as close to effortless as we can make it. And so don't skip ahead. Like, don't try to get ahead of yourself. Like, focus on the big dominoes. And the reason why I love the idea of the domino is because a domino can knock over another domino 1.2 times bigger than itself.
Mm.
And that doesn't sound like much, but this chain reaction, clink, 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 I think it's by the 14th domino, it's like the size of the Empire State Building. And so all you have to do is flick the small domino and the results literally follow themselves. But if you jump in and you're like, I'm going to knock down the Empire State Building domino, and you're like, boom, you might sprain your hamstring. And so, yeah, I would just say go slow, trust the process, trust the proof that you see in the wins tab, and trust the proof that you start to see in your own life, like very, 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 very quickly as you go through it.
I like that. And I wanted to ask that because that is the person I am. I know I think Arden's still in here. Hold on, let me check before I say this. Yeah, he is. All right. I give him a hard time about doing all or nothing, but the only reason why I know about that is because I have been the all or nothing person. And part of my thing when I went into it was like, that's just too easy for the first day. And so I think it is a good reminder that just start the way that you've done it because you do know what you're talking about because you do have a PhD. And I already trusted you because like I've known you around school and stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to trust the process, but I feel like this is too easy. But as we started getting into it, I was like, oh, there's a little bit of that build up and you need to start with the easy so that it's not scary is I guess what I would call it.
It's like a
So,
video game. You have to beat the small bosses before you're ready to go and tackle the big one.
mhm, exactly. The sustainable part.
Yeah.
Um, well, thank you. And we're going to go ahead and in this call, I'm going to put the replay on YouTube and inside the community. So if anybody wants to watch it again, take more notes, you were just present and you didn't take notes during this, that's fine. We'll put all of that in together. And of course, that business side. I have an affiliate. No, I'm just kidding. I will put the affiliate link with it, but I want you to know that if you use it or you don't use it, I just want you to get the results. Like that's it for me. I want you to go in and I want you to get your time back and I want you to experience what it's like to like I don't know where you put your value on your hour, but I've gone through and I've done lots of testings on like how much my hour was worth. And part of me being on school is like my mission is just to help as many people as possible. And but I still know the value of my hour and realizing that and I don't know if I put this in that post, but I looked at it and I was like, that's about a half a million a year that I was losing. And then I had to like stop the mom guilt and I was like, that's a half a million I'm taking from my kid. And so I was like, I'm gonna be here forever. I'm always gonna be in this community. um, to just keep myself accountable to everything. So I'll put all that up. Do you still have a little bit more time to answer questions as we wrap up this recording?
Yeah, 100%. And one
Okay.
final thing that I didn't make clear, Ted Carr was coaching me after he saw my talk in Canada. He was like, bro, you need to let people know that you're not going to get in the way of them building their business. So
Right.
the screen time is like non-work related screen time. It's got nothing to do with your professional life. I want you to go out and I want you to build an incredible business because, yeah, I mean, like I said, I believe entrepreneurs are the hope of the world. And so, yeah, you need to go out there and bring the thing that's deep inside of you to the world. And if a little bit of extra freedom will allow you to do that, it's like I'm delighted to play my little part in the domino chain.
Yeah, that's a huge point. Before I end this recording, this is you're only tracking the time that you're not working on screens because all of us here that are at school, we're on screens. That is only 4 point like for this week, my 14 day, 4.5 hours I've saved each day from non-working hours because I was on my phone even when I was not working. So that's a huge point that it's not your working time because some people are like, "Well, what are you talking about? I have to spend time on the screens because I work." No, this is not has nothing to do with your working hours. You still have to have a business, you still have to create online, but in fact, what I found is that you end up being more productive in your time that you are working because you are watching your non-working hour time. So, yes. All right. That's gonna wrap up the recording, and we're gonna do a little Q&A. This is why you try to show up live, so we can do Q&As, you know?
Scarcity and urgency, bro.
Yeah, right there.